righty. Good morning, Catherine. Good to see
Good
you. How
morning.
are you? And tell us where you are. So exciting.
Oh, well, I am down at the beach and enjoying a little early morning chat with you. So
Love it.
excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited that you're here. Thank you. And it is early, and I'm excited for parents, for moms to watch the content we're going to share today and for them to learn how they can walk away with just a lot of golden nuggets. And why don't before we get into it, why don't you just give us, because I haven't talked to Catherine. So for those of you that are watching or watching on the replay, Catherine and I we go over a lot of great value and knowledge when we go on our runs and walks. So just 30 seconds, what have you been up to in the wonderful life up at the beach with turtles and sunshine and water and all the things? Give me just a 30-second snapshot.
Well, a lot of practicing what I love and what I think is so important in our lives is getting out in nature and
Yeah,
moving and just reconnecting with
yeah.
people that you haven't seen in a long time. So those are really things that I think are allow for us to have wonderful balance. And so I'm trying to practice that in the month of July and
Yes,
always, but
and
especially this month.
always.
So
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So I know that we have a lot to talk about, and we're going to try to fill everything up quickly. And the title for today's show is, how to tackle times of transition with ease. And I know that you could talk about this for a long time. I know that you're offering a really exciting upcoming workshop, and so where, I mean, I have so many questions for you as far as um, let's just do like a little like what makes this so important? What makes the ability for parents, for moms, for dads, and for teens themselves so crucial in this day and age when they know change is coming, when transitions are coming? I mean, how did this come to be that you've put this together?
absolutely transitions equal change, equal opportunity for transformation.
Mhm.
So essentially, it's letting go of something and bringing something new into your life. And how do we do that effectively? How do we do that so we set ourselves up for the best success that we can? And how do we do that so that we're really becoming, through that transformation, our authentic selves?
Mhm.
So, those
Mhm.
are the things that are paramount, that we empower young people, especially women that I'm focused on working with, um, to be able to become who they were intended to be.
So, okay, that's fabulous. And something that really caught my attention that you said was, so when we're approaching change and transitions, what you said was that really means, and correct me if I'm wrong, I need to have a little more coffee, but I think it's really interesting. So you said when we're approaching change and transition, oftentimes, or maybe you just said that that means really letting go of something. And is that what you said? And if so, can you expand upon that?
Absolutely. So, the way our bodies work, our minds become ingrained in certain pathways within our brains, and that's how we have habits and behaviors.
Mm,
So essentially, during times of transition and change, what we're actually doing is in new circumstances,
mm.
we're developing new pathways and new ways that we manage ourselves in a new environment. So
Okay, I
that
get that. And I get that. And Catherine, I'm thinking of anything and everything from like what one might think is a small change, like to like healthier eating habits. Let's say you put a ton of delicious, heavy whole milk or cream in your coffee, and you found out you have high cholesterol. And it's been recommended if you can transition, but to no cream or whole milk, okay, that might bring that cholesterol level down. However, then there are bigger transitions, of course, right? Like moving or getting through life with the loss of a loved one in your life or transitioning to college, somewhere in between. So what what is the pain point though? Because it sounds like, oh yeah, okay, I'll let go of that cream in my coffee, or okay, I'm a rising college freshman. I'll let go of my routine of going to my high school or letting go of the friends I saw. What is the pain involved with it? Because if there isn't pain, it's like, oh, all right, we can do this. But there's something there.
Yeah. Well, you hear this a lot, and people express, teens express, during times of transition because they don't have the experience of transitions behind them and successful transitions because they haven't had to do it much.
Mm,
So, this first major transition in their life from high school to college, there's a lot of fear
mm,
and worry and concern that's woven into it because there's
mm,
so many unknowns.
mm.
Um, and when they face the unknown, when they can face it um, with a different posture and intentionality, they will find that they can do it with more success and resiliency. And they'll really know and learn more about themselves as they go through that transition.
So
Um,
I get that. I mean, and I think it's really fascinating, and I love this saying, and I don't know what you think about this, but the way we do one thing is the way we do everything. So the question is, and we're going to talk specifically about your upcoming workshop and what the benefits are, and I'm so excited to learn more. And I know our viewers are, and a lot of people I know are up rather early will watch this on the replay. But if the way we do one thing is the way we do everything, how is it that we mitigate that? I mean, make smaller that pain, whether it is healthier eating or trying to exercise more or trying to use our words in a more
Mhm.
productive way in conflict or moving into that dorm room. Like what
Exactly.
so I think this is a great time because I'm hearing from you the pain is a lot of fear. And once that fear button is flipped on, a flood of negative and destructive thoughts can get in our way, even if we want to go to college, even if we want to be healthier, of preventing us. So,
Absolutely.
what are some
So
of
when
the
you
thoughts to help? I mean,
Well, when you talk about fear, your parasympathetic nervous system kicks into gear, and
yes,
everyone's heard of the fight or flight.
yes.
So we become more reactive, and we don't put a lot of thought into our decisions, into our actions, when our
Mm,
fight or flight is ramped
mhm,
up.
mhm,
So, learning ways that we can tamper that and really utilize and capitalize on our natural abilities
mm,
and utilize those to their maximum
mm.
to really step forward. So, it's not necessarily learning something entirely new, it's using what you already have and capitalizing on that.
Okay, so give me an example of that, and everything from like I love like the healthier eating, the eating example. Like let's just say, I mean, for example, my mom always said like she learned this in like the 1960s, like as far as like stop eating sweets at night. Someone told her it's really wise to get into the habit of having just a little sweet, like a little piece of chocolate. Or, they always say, like, I can just hear my grandma, a teeny tiny sliver of cake after a meal. And what you're doing is you're conditioning your brain. And I know you can delve into the minutia of this, of that taste is saying, okay, a little sweet and we're done. But that's a habit you're into. And then you realize you have this high cholesterol, or at our age, it's a lot easier to lose, lose the weight that comes from like a piece of cake every night after. And the college student is stepping into the dorm room and like, oh, I didn't realize my roommate would be blaring music or would be really starting to study at 2 in the morning. Or and so that fear, that discomfort comes in, whether it's breaking the food habit or new life in college. So, like, what is something that where do you
Two,
start with the girls, Catherine, like to help them through this?
so, two things. First, we look at sparks. We
Mm,
look at sparks. We focus on what makes them tick, what brings them alive.
okay.
And when they can go inward and really notice individually what makes them spark,
Okay.
then we can take that spark and bring it outward and figure out really unique and creative ways that they can utilize that spark to make their experience positive.
Mhm.
The
So
second
what's an
thing,
example? Like, what do you mean? Like, what's an example of a spark?
so a spark may be something that kind of gives you that feeling of joy inside, maybe a goosebump moment. So I have them reflect and discover some of those things. Maybe it's some sort of movement that they enjoy. Maybe they dance. Maybe they're an
Okay.
athlete.
Okay.
Maybe they draw. Maybe they enjoy hiking out in nature.
So is this the
So
type of thing, like, I can vividly remember, and I wish so badly they were on this right now, and I know you have, such fond memories of some of your, college girlfriends and sorority sisters, and right now as you're saying this, I can remember as my junior year of college and being so upset about some s social issue and, like, how hard grades were, and I remember my friend Melissa saying, like, "Go out for a run. Go." And Melissa was a dance team person and never went out for a run and didn't even get what it did for me.
mhm,
But this is exactly what you're talking about. I love this
right,
so much. So you're saying help teens meet them where they are with what already sparks joy.
right.
Brilliant.
They
Brilliant.
they
Love
they
it.
know this. It's just a matter of tapping
I
into it
know it
and
is.
recognizing it. And so they have to take the time to do it and to reflect upon it.
Mm,
And, we've talked about how, it's such a fast paced world. With social media, there's a lot of comparison that goes on. And oftentimes we're living more outward. And
yes. Yes, we've
when
talked
we,
about this so much. Yes.
when
Yeah.
we can go inward and really reflect upon what brings us joy, what brings us that
Yeah.
sense of peace, that
Yeah.
spark, what makes us come alive,
Right.
then we know how to manage ourselves in a better way.
Right.
And, the other thing I wanted to share, Amy, is how we go about reframing things in our minds. It's kind of a fun little
Mm.
game actually to play. And
So this is
when
huge. Yeah.
when we talk about it in our workshops, it's amazing how the girls just will light up and they're like, "Oh my goodness, I had no idea if I kind of reversed my
Yes.
thinking on that,
Yes.
how it changes my mindset."
Yes.
And as we've talked about, our thoughts become our actions. And so
Yes.
when we can change that mindset,
100%.
we can move forward in a different direction.
Yes, yes. So,
So
Catherine, I read something along the lines of, I don't know if you've heard about this. I'm sure a lot of people have. If we change the way we look at things, the way we look at things changes. It's just a
very simple,
yeah,
but it takes work. And
takes
again, we've talked about, when our brains get in a certain pattern,
yes.
there's so much automatic reflection that
Mhm,
happens.
mhm, mhm.
And so we
Yeah.
become reactive.
Yes.
And when we put a little more thought into it, we can become more responsive.
Yes.
And when we're responsive, it, the backdrop of that is that we've been intentional about it. So we've
Right.
put some
Right.
thought into it and
Right.
we've maybe had to redirect or reframe.
Mhm,
And once you redirect and reframe, several times, then
mhm.
that becomes your natural
That
pathway.
becomes your natural right, and
Right.
what I'm hearing from you, and this is, like, so fabulous, and parents, when you're gonna watch this on the replay, like, so I'm gonna say what I'm hearing from you, and then I'll, like, frame it in, like, the terms of how I see this playing out with kids, especially girls going to college. It's when it's taking and holding these uncomfortable thoughts, whether they're, driven by fear or
Mhm.
and then having the toolkit, it's like this, to reframe, to rethink, to take action, whether it's turning on music and dancing. It's like,
Right.
"Oh my gosh, I cut my finger." You're not just, "Okay, ouch, it's bleeding." What do you learn to do from age 3? Clean it off and put a Band-Aid on it.
Mhm.
"Oh my gosh, I'm not agreeing with my roommate. I can't do this. I'm in this for another year, and I didn't get the sorority I wanted, and, oh, this is a lot more difficult than high school." We can spin in our heads, or
Mhm.
we can take action. We can put some music on. We can go out for a walk. And I know you give so many more techniques. We can write about it. We can find kind people that we love and trust. And so it's that harnessing it, holding it, recognizing it, and then taking action so it feels better. I had a question for you though. Do you believe that even if someone doesn't, like, let's say, like a new college student and they're feeling really down, or even someone our age, e- even if they don't feel good and they still feel sad and feel lonely, do you believe that taking action can help them feel better even if they don't want to? Do you know what I mean? It's like that, oh, fine, I'll go out for a walk. But they still, like, when does the positive change start to happen? It's like that because I know you're really into like the mind body. So let's say there's someone who's really resistant.
Well, it's through that repetition. And also, I think
Mm,
it's often helpful to find a connection point with someone else. And as you mentioned earlier, Amy, you have some accountability with someone. So you make a connection and
mm.
you can rely upon one another, which essentially will build community in a sense as well.
Well,
So
that's so true, Catherine. I mean, we can even think about that with, some of these runs we go on. Like sometimes it's too cold or it's too hot or we're just both feeling sluggish. But it's like, you know what? Just put those running shoes on. Here we are together chatting away, take our mind off, trying to
yeah,
catch our breath, but we're out there doing it. And it's that repetition. It's like we'll get
right,
over feeling icky. We'll get over feeling tired, the positive energy. Yeah. So it can be the
right.
same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's having that, and that's another thing we talk about in the workshop is how do you're leaving a support system that you knew well, whether it be the guidance counselors at your school, parents, friend groups,
Right. I mean,
neighborhood community,
right.
all of it.
Yeah.
So what in that support community was really important and what
Right.
characteristics did you notice? And how do you discover and seek out and establish
Right.
that new support community
Right.
in the new place? And so that
Yeah.
transition and what are you looking for? And we really
Mhm.
nail it down to specifics with what about these certain people that were in your life um, can you notice that were the positive characteristics
I mean,
that really complemented you, and how do you find those in that new
right,
environment?
right. I mean, but Catherine, I'm thinking about how a lot of this is ironic in a way, and I'm going to flip things on you here and throwing you a curveball. So it's almost like, and I'm thinking there's some like brilliant copywriting title for this. It's almost like so many parents have gone to the nth extreme to prevent discomfort for their children, whether it's with grades or socially or making sure they don't have all the Lululemon, this or that. They've gone to the nth extreme, yelling at teachers. And now they know they have to let go and they know life is going to happen and they know they can't control the thunderstorms, the winds, so to speak, that are going to face their
Mhm.
children. So I guess a great question then is, for another Facebook Live, and as we're thinking of wrapping this one up, to what extent can parents help build up this resiliency, build up these natural tools, without causing don't have like major trauma. No parent wants to see their child in pain. But if there's such a gap between kids never having, very frequently having to deal with this, how then could they build up some of these tools? And I think what I'm hearing from you is they probably actually are. And what you're helping them do, I mean, even if on the outside life seems really great, they've been through tough times. And I think what I'm hearing from you is what you're helping them do is say, like, girls, you've got a lot of this in you. You're stronger than you
Absolutely,
think. So let
absolutely.
so let's
I mean,
bring that to the forefront.
pain is part of the human condition. I mean, that is how it is. I mean, our bodies are we're built to manage pain. I mean,
Right.
that's why we have, the parasympathetic nervous system. That's why we have an how inflammation works in our bodies is actually to manage pain and help
Yeah.
us heal.
Yeah.
Um, when it's mitigated in a right framework. So, it's really about allowing, how much pain brings forth, some growth
Yeah.
and, really building that resilience through those uncomfortable times. And oftentimes, when we faced our greatest obstacles, they become unique opportunities
Well, absolutely,
because it
Catherine. I mean,
causes you to really look beyond.
yes.
When there's a wall that's up in your normal, day to day on that normal road, what do?
I
You
mean, we
look for
grow
you
through
look
pain.
for an
Right.
alternative.
Yeah.
And when we look for alternatives, we become more resourceful, we become more creative, and, we really think out of the box.
Mhm.
And so that is how we build problem solvers.
Mhm.
That is how we build people that are thinkers, that are just not
Right.
living through, a certain path that A plus B always equals C. Well,
Exactly. It doesn't.
and that's not always that exciting anyway.
Right. Right,
You
of
know?
course, of course. So
So
so that's really cool. I mean, I think there's so much here. I think there's, so much overlap in what we both do. It's almost like there's beauty and opportunity for growth and expansion during difficult times, and I love that you're helping girls and parents see that it's the how to approach it that way, as
Mhm.
opposed how to lean into a problem or an issue, because that's to be celebrated if you can think of it that way.
Right.
And we're going to wrap it up, and I thought I'd ask you, like, as we do think of, signing off here and whatnot. So what should parents do as far as, if they're really interested in your work and they know that their girls would benefit from, like, tell us about your next workshop and how they can sign up. And even
Okay.
if they have questions, like, how do they're not gonna get a hold of me. So where is the easiest way to.
So just reach out to me via email. It's
Okay, okay,
creativesoulcharlotte@gmail.com, and soul is SOLE,
okay,
um, like the footprint, like our shoe. And, feel free to reach out if you have
okay,
questions. I am doing the workshops. I've done several, earlier this summer, and I have one more that's going to be held at Thrive Wellness
okay,
in Charlotte, which is in the South Park area at Shops
yep,
on the Park. It's a wellness collaborative that three OBGYNs started.
okay. It's
And
called
so
Thrive Wellness, Catherine?
well, it's Thrive Carolinas is
Oh, yeah.
actually the name, but it's a wellness um,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
holistic center. And I will August 1st, Tuesday,
That's
August
right.
1st,
Okay,
from 6 to 7:30 is when we will have the interactive workshop. And we're
okay,
limited to 12 participants because I like
okay.
it to be a really close knit group. And we
Yes.
do a lot of discussion and sharing, and
Okay.
it's very experiential.
And Catherine, who
So
is the
that's
audience? Are those girls or those parents?
these are girls. So
Yeah.
we are offering this to rising seniors in high school and any college age girls. I've had
Very
several
good.
moms reach out to me who have college juniors
Very
and
good.
rising seniors that went through a lot of years of COVID, and
Mhm.
they really feel like
Oh,
they may
absolutely.
benefit from this kind of programming. So any
Fabulous.
age young woman is
Yes.
who will benefit from this.
Okay.
And then I'm also doing, if someone prefers to do it on a one-on-one
Yeah,
basis, I'm doing that, and I'm available to do that virtually or in person.
that's right.
And that's something new that I'm offering. I've had a
Good.
couple people reach out, and
Excellent.
we did a virtual one a couple weeks ago, and it was successful.
Okay.
And we felt like the screen was not a limiting factor.
Yes.
So that's
Good.
something that I'm open to doing if
Okay.
there is need.
There is need, Catherine. There is need. So
Yes,
awesome, so awesome.
yes.
Well, thank you so much, and for our listeners and our listeners on the replay, we will be posting detailed information on Catherine's services and her next workshop in our Total Writing Enrichment newsletter. And if you'd like to get into that newsletter, you can message me here with your email and I'll add you, or you can hop on over to totalwritingenrichment.com and there's a quick form you can fill out. And we give a lot of high value tips. And I'd love for you to learn more about Catherine and how she can help you and your teens manage transitions in the easiest way possible. And I will tell you what, after working with Catherine, you will discover wonderful qualities about yourself and your life and how things are probably a lot better than you think. So,
Thank you.
Catherine, thank you for your time. And
I'd love
I,
to leave us with one little,
yes,
bit
please.
of wisdom. I love quotes from other authors and
Yes.
writers, and this one is from Ralph Waldo Emerson,
Oh, yes.
and he shares that what lies behind us
Yes.
and what lies before us are small matters compared to what lies within us.
Yes. Very good. I love
So,
that so much.
I hope everybody has
Wonderful.
a great day.
Yeah, yeah, fabulous. You too. Enjoy the beach, and we'll do this again. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks,
All right.
everybody. Bye.
Thanks, Amy. Bye.